Good day, everybody. My name is Gary Fowler, and it is great to be here one more time. I'm a serial entrepreneur and investor. Love artificial intelligence and quantum computing. Been involved in 17 startups and 2 unicorns. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai. So it is with great pleasure that I introduce our guests today. Vandana and Alexis, we are going to be talking about impact. And as we know, impact is all around us and in all kinds of different ways. And we've got to make our own little dent in the universe. So with that, Vandana, you say a few words about yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Gary, for having me here today. Thank you to the entire team of Latokan VCTV. Um, I was in Singapore and Jakarta for 15 years in investment banking. I had my own family office fund there. I was an advisor to family offices and angel investors in Indonesia, helping startups from a diverse background. And after 15 years of staying there, I came back to India. That is when Convanto was founded, and today it is one of the most well known boutique investment banks led by a female founder. I'm also a venture advisor with Loyal VC and a partner with GST Venture Studios. I've been selected as the top 10 women leaders in wealth management 2021. My brand, Convanto, comes under the top 10 women entrepreneur brands, and my expert opinion is sought in leading business news channels and publications like VCTV, Business World. I've participated in 160 talks all over the world, which can be seen on YouTube and VCTV streaming sites. I'm connected with 130, 300 investors globally, and we pick up global deals. We are sector agnostic. Typically, we do a $1 million to a $50 million. We are a global entity. So thank you, Gary, for having me here. Very happy to discuss impact investments today.
Sounds great. Great to have you here. Alexis, a little bit about yourself
Yes,
and some of the things you're working on.
yes. Alex Sheikh, partner at Supercap Digital. We have $2 billion in assets under advisement. I run also Sheikh Foundation, which is an impact investing social capital. I've been doing that for 20 years. I have my holding company, Sheikh Holding Company, and I'm also involved in DLT Capital, which is an EMEA-based corporate finance boutique, and we have raised $1 billion in euros, for around 50 projects worldwide.
Excellent. Excellent. Super. So let's talk about what is impact investing, Vandana, and exactly what are people talking about? Is it about the democratization of opportunity? Is it about the environment? Where are we with it?
Sure, Gary. So, impact investments are investments made with the intention to generate a positive, measurable social and environmental impact alongside a financial return. Impact investments are an emerging asset class and have the potential over the next 10 years for invested capital of 400 billion to $1 trillion and profit of 183 to 667 billion. And alongside impact investment, other similar ideas have evolved, such as conscious capitalism, sustainable investments, and ethical investment. Now, this is a segment of investment that has been growing rapidly, and there is now $228 billion in impact investment assets, which is roughly double that of last year. For many impact investors and funds, the 17 global goals by the UN have become a guideline for key performance indicators. Social responsible investment, which is well-defined framework for choosing investments based on environmental, social governance, which is also called ESG, criteria is not new to investors. One might argue that impact investing has evolved out of SRI to the broader investment community. The difference today is that impact investors are far more proactive in their, intention for positive impact, as opposed to merely avoiding their negative impacts.
No, that's great. It's my next call after this is with the United Nations, so it's my third call with them. And last week I spoke at the 76th Assembly about technology as a tool for peace. For each one of the viewers out there, we've got a lot of challenges in front of us. The population of the planet will go from 8.1 billion to 13 billion by the end of this century. By 2050,
Yeah.
we're going to have to double the food supply to feed everybody. And we can't increase the number of livestock because 26% of the pollution is caused by livestock. At the same time, the average temperatures around the world could be up as high as 9 degrees Fahrenheit. What does that mean? That means the polar ice caps melt. Places like Florida could be up 7 feet. Coastal cities in India could be underwater. Cities of up to 4 million. We need to bind together to be able to make a difference. This isn't something that is if, it's a matter of when. And the actions that we take today will be felt in 20 years. We're feeling the actions that we've taken 20 years ago today. We need to bind together to be able to make a difference. And with that, Alex or Alexis, what do you like better?
My friends call me Alex, so
Okay,
and you're
got it.
part of the LA token or LA token, so you can call me Alex.
Okay, great, Alex.
It's easier also.
Sounds good. Well, tell us a little bit about it. I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, what are you interested in? Where can we have the most impact? We've got these challenges in front of us, and our children, our grandchildren are going to face an entirely different world. So what's the impact from your standpoint, and where are you focused?
Yeah, we have been focusing on the SDG one, UN SDG one, which is no poverty. I think you have to start there, because poverty alleviation is actually the main root cause for many things, such as the environment, pollution, etc. So if you start there and create a better impact with social capital to get people out of poverty, that will create a better social environment, that will also get more finances into the society, and it will change our world view and also on how we act. So I think we have to start there. So that's why we're focusing on SDG 1, and it's the first goal for a reason. So we start at the beginning. SDG 1, no poverty.
I hear you 100%. The last week during the panel that I was on at the UN, we talked about technology to be able to thwart violent extremism and terrorism, and that's where I started to talk about technology as a tool for peace. The one thing we need to do is we need to create jobs, because as you know, Alex, intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities aren't. And we need to come out, we need to bind together to solve these problems. If somebody can feed their family, they're less likely to do nefarious, not good things. You're exactly on target. The thing is, from my perspective, I believe that, and I saw this last week with the Undersecretary of the UN. We had a discussion about this. And I'm just a country boy, just so you know. I mean, I'm a country boy from Pennsylvania. If it's black and white and it has horns, it's a cow. I'm kind of a simple guy. I said, if there's a problem that people are creating not good scenarios, terrorist activity, why don't we figure out how to create jobs so they can create jobs and feed families? You're right on target with it. And but we're beyond the point of talking about it. We're at the point where we need to take action. If not, nothing good's going to happen. In another 250 or 300 years, we could not be around if we keep treating our planet the way it is and we don't help each other. Seriously.
Then we have to go with Elon to Mars.
We're going to have to go beyond Mars. There's 6 billion Earth-like planets in the Milky Way galaxy. There are 200 trillion galaxies now estimated in the universe. There's a whole lot of places we can go, but we don't want to become Mars, right? Nothing good's going to happen. So it is concerning, it is interesting, but there's also hope that we can make a difference. Hope that we can treat each other the right way. Hope that we can all believe in our dreams and they come true. So Vandana, talk about, let's go down through and where are we and where do we need to go?
See, this is a very vast topic. We can think of impact investments or sustainable investments having two aspects. Now, firstly, it involves intentionally making investments with the aim of creating a measurable, beneficial impact on the environment or on society. Secondly, it should also earn a positive financial return. India is one of the first countries in the world to formalize the role of corporate social responsibility through the Companies Act, which I believe is an extremely crucial change. Considering the current, COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of impact investments in corporate social responsibility are being made towards the healthcare sector, especially for COVID relief. And apart from healthcare, these investments can also be in education sector, agriculture, biotech sector, as well as the energy sector, especially renewable and clean energy. And I believe there is a need for a reform in the current VC model to maximize impact. The VC model seems to be unsuitable for the way that environmental, social, and governance investments help in making an impact. The 5-7 year investment tenure, it involves continual fundraising and portfolio construction, and that ends up mixing genuine impact with commercial ventures to drive returns. Now, this model, given its obsession with growth and valuations, has downplayed the need for the patient long haul capital needed for ESG innovations, and also diluted the disciplining role of finance in many businesses. Now, even early stage funding rounds need to justify the viability of the model. These force, entrepreneurs to chase rapid growth and seek large sums, even at stage when it's not clear how many pivots are needed. This crowds out entrepreneurs wanting to solve difficult problems as fund chase de-risk growth enterprises that are relatively mainstream and prevents them from maximizing environmental or social impact.
Got it. So, well, how do we make a change? Let's look at it right. What do we need to do to make a change, Vandana, to make the model work?
Uh, to make the model work, there is a need for these sustainable investments which can help in reducing, our carbon footprint and carbon emissions and reducing the adverse environmental impact. In India,
I mean,
almost,
Vandana, let me interrupt you for a second.
yeah, yeah,
Elon
yeah,
Musk said 3 weeks ago
yeah,
um, that it's not if we're not going to have hydrocarbons, it's when, right? And think
yeah,
about this: the day that it happens, and it's going to scale up where prices go through the roof. How are people going to heat their homes, right?
yeah,
Because there's
yeah,
oil
right,
and gas. How are people going to heat their home? The basic necessities. I mean, I don't know.
right,
I don't know. We hit peak oil, right? So where do we go?
yeah,
And then, we're talking about the VCs. There's not going to be in another 40 years. I mean, people maybe don't get it. When there's no heating
mm,
oil, right? There's no
right,
gas. We had better make a decision now because it's going to happen within your lifetime, Vandana.
yeah,
It's going to
that's
happen in
right,
your lifetime. And so,
yeah,
what do we do to make those changes? And maybe the VCs don't get it, their horizons, but it ain't going to be so many years where there's no, there's nothing to talk about. you know,
yeah,
they're going to be
that's
going out
true.
and putting wood in their houses. It's going to be like going back to the Stone Ages.
Yeah, that's true. I totally agree with you. There's a lot of need, in all these areas. I'll tell you, I would like to continue if that's okay. In India, almost 90% of the energy is derived from burning coal, biomass, waste, and petrol and other fuels, and only 10% of it's renewable, which is extremely low. Now, this impact can be made affordable if there are greater investments by VCs and investors in biofuels, in clean, green, and renewable energy like solar, wind, or any other energy efficient sources. Recycling of plastics and other waste are also important sectors where one can invest for environmental impact. Now, a startup called, Wonderful actually focuses on reducing plastic pollution. The green tech startup has been designed sustainable dispenser services for companies, which makes liquid and cream products in plastic bottles. It is refreshing to see the majority female team finding ways to address how wasteful the beauty and personal care industry can be. And then there is this another company, Beyond Meat and Impossible Fuels, are green tech unicorns that produce alternative protein meat from plant based proteins and simultaneously address the harmful environmental impacts of meat production and consumptions worldwide.
Well, I
Then there
mean,
is,
it's Vandana. Let
yeah,
me just interrupt you for a second. Here's the
yeah,
challenge,
yeah,
right? We've got
yeah,
less than 30 years
right,
before we're not going to have enough protein, right? And if you
exactly.
look at the transition that's taking place now to plant-based protein, at the same time, when we increase the population from 8.1 billion to 13 billion by the end of the century, this thing is going to have a escalating effect. So here's the deal: you talked about plastics in India, but and 90% of it is fossil-based fuel. But how
Yeah,
do we make the change? You got 1.4 billion people there, 1.3 billion. You got 1.3 billion people in Africa. Then you got China with 1.4. How in the world do we make the change, and is it realistic to make the change? So I'm going to go down through. Alex, this is for you. How do we make the change? Is it realistic? And what do we do? What corrective steps do we have to do to take care of this incredible challenge that we have in front of us? And how do we encourage investors to invest?
Well, going back again, the only focus we have for a reason and have been having for more than 20 years is SDG 1. We have to solve the poverty situation because that's the root cause. You have to focus on the root cause, and this is the root cause.
So
So you
let's
have to
talk about
yeah,
Alex. How
yeah,
do we do it? Right? Because we got, one
yeah,
is education, I would
yeah,
say,
yeah.
education, but how do we democratize opportunity and what can each person do? And I know a lot of the viewers out there are VCs and family offices.
Mm,
What steps can we take to actually make it come true instead of, you know, I just had this experience with the UN last week
mm,
myself, right?
mm.
So,
I think it's very easy. You have to chart. You have to start with focusing on the children in the poor countries. So we have been working with SOS Children Villages Internationals for more than 20 years in the poorest regions in Africa, Zimbabwe. And you have to change the world, as is our tagline, one at a time. So we took one small child that was an orphan from an SOS Children Village to the national soccer team playing in the Olympics. What does that bring? That brings hope to the society, to the city, to the country, etc. So you have to start with the children where there's still hope, and that will change the society. And you have to give them food, you have to give them clean water, you have to give them shelter, you have to give them education, etc.
so one of the things we talked about last week, and one of the things that I've done, I started in Russia 14 years ago. I started the first accelerator in Russia when people weren't really talking about it. Moved to Moscow, we started it, and it created a movement. What I see from my perspective is that if we go down through and we accelerate companies, we give people hope, as you said, but do it, we do it more in mass rather than one at a time. And we do it so it's profitable for everybody. Because if you do it for entitlement, just my perspective, this is Gary's view, right? If you do it for entitlement, you can't get people to really buy off in the long term. Yes, they'll invest and they'll donate and they'll do charity, but create jobs. And I've seen miraculous things happen. In fact, I'm going to be meeting with a guy from Africa, from Nigeria, a young gentleman started a company. It's now worth $500 million. It's a fintech company, literally. And create a movement where you can create jobs, create acceleration around that area, and give people hope, give people ideas, show them role models that have really done it, show them that there is a path to success and they can make their own dent in the universe. And, you know, what I saw in Russia, what I've seen in a number of different countries, we're in 38 today, is that when you start to give that hope, as you said, and you start to show them the direct path, it's like taking a trip and having your GPS or navigator. It actually shows you where you need to go. It truly helps. And I buy often, it's with the children, you know, but if you can create that movement, it's almost like having sports stars or musicians that people admire. You know, they start to look at it and all of a sudden those entrepreneurs become their heroes. Anyhow, Vandana, what are your thoughts?
So, I think education is definitely necessary for these small children that are
But
really,
who,
really
Vandana, but who needs to be educated? Is it the children or society?
the society. Of course, we need to educate the society that to impart this to the poor children that are on the streets. I will tell you this. Near my home there is a temple where there are about these 15 kids. I've been taking care of them for the past 6-7 months. We give them food regularly, we provide them education, we do a lots of things for these kids. You know we get them school bags, we get them clothes, etc. So in our own way, everybody has to make a small change, a small impact to these areas. Not only this, I think we need to empower women a lot. We need to empower people, like you said, that we need to educate them, to empower them to be able to help themselves, rather being in these conditions. We actually need to realize that there are actual financial benefits that can be achieved through investments that help in achieving gender equality. So, I talk a lot about gender equality, Gary. But you know why I do that? Because there are reports by McKinsey which say that a move towards gender parity in economic participation can raise India's GDP by 16%. Gender balanced senior investment teams also generate 10 to 20% higher returns for private equity firms and venture capital firms. And apart from financial gains, there are invaluable human and social gains that can be achieved through gender equality. So there can be various ways of impact investments for women empowerment. And there can be micro loans, micro saving services for women that could help boost more women entrepreneurs, funds which exclusively cater to women or have women as majority of their clientele. Support can be extended as a part of CSR to women belonging to self-help groups and also those individuals desiring to enter into enterprise activities. So I feel this is really, really important change that we need to bring, not only in India, but all over the world. There are many parts of the world also that they have this, uh, you know, gap in gender equality, etc.
No, I agree with you 100%. I mean, I think there's, from my perspective, there's three pillars. Intergenerational teams. Sometimes we take the folks that have experience and understanding, and we don't build them into these teams. Second is cultural diversity. As you said, it's not just about equality, it's about people of different backgrounds and different cultures that can come together to solve these problems in really a 360-degree way. And also decentralized teams. We need to look at things differently. The good news about the digital transformation that happened over the last couple of years is that we understand we have vulnerabilities, but we all also have hope that we can solve the problem. And just like we're here today from India, from Palm Beach, I don't even know, Alex, where's your office right now? Where are you? I can't hear you on mute.
Oh, you're on mute.
Royal Kingdom of Stockholm, Sweden.
Okay. I mean, think about it. Here we are. If you talked about 6 years ago, StreamYard was founded in 2018. Zoom was 6 years ago. I was one of the first early Zoom users. We didn't have these capabilities, but now we can bring everybody together. And we need to use those technologies to help. So I hear what you're saying. We need equality. We need the democratization of opportunities, really. That's what it's
Yeah,
all about. And
that's
the good news is we can take those steps forward. Alex, your thoughts?
Well, I believe in the fintech technology in these new countries that are still way behind from the Western countries, and through fintechs, through apps, and to unbanking the unbanked, you can actually alleviate them from having no money to actually having money to support themselves, etc. So that's one hope that I see in this area very clearly. And also there are many women initiatives where you, through fintech plays, unbanking the unbanked, small shops, small companies, for them, you can see that it really impacts their society and society as a whole. So there are many good things happening.
No, that's great. Now, so Vandana, we're coming to the top of the show. Closing thoughts, and where can people reach you?
Yeah, so Gary, like I said, this is a very, very vast topic. I think we will need to sit together and have an actual long discussion on this. Impact investing is here to stay and to grow exponentially over the next decade and beyond. And it's simple. Our future depends on it, and people are understanding this at last. The philanthropic way of giving to charities is no longer the only way to make a difference, and impact investing is now seen as the key driver for a positive change. And impact investing has gained traction among a wide range of investors, including the largest financial institutions, pension funds, family offices, private wealth managers, foundations, individuals, commercial bank, and development finance institutions. There is much more that needs to be done to bridge the funding gap to achieve the sustainable goals by 2030 and help the world from the irreversible consequences. And the potential of making returns from impact investing is comparable to traditional investments, and all those are slightly lower depending on the benchmark. Purpose driven people and investors are aware of the importance of change on expectations over the greater benefit of the society. And I could be reached on my LinkedIn handle or my website www.convanto.com. And once again, thank you for having me here.
Yep. Thank you, Alex. Closing thoughts, and where can people?
Yeah, the impact investment is worth now $715 billion, and it's estimated to be worth $1 trillion within a 10-year period. So if you follow the money, things are happening. You can find me on LinkedIn, and you can find me on shakefoundation.org, and also supercap.org, and also shakeholding.com. And focus on the SDG 1 that solves all the problems of all the other SDGs. SDG 1, no poverty.
That's great. Thank you. So, as I said, my name is Gary Fowler, and I'm the CEO of GSD. We believe that democratization of opportunity, that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but quite frankly, opportunities aren't. We can each make a difference if we really focus on it. And it's not just about the talk, it's about action. It's not about entitlement, it's about opportunity. It's about how we can all share in the incredible upside, how we can all feel some of those differences, and how we can also pave the way to a brilliant future for each and every one of us. You can reach me, Gary Fowler, on LinkedIn. You can reach me on Twitter. Check out my shows, GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. Be great to have you on, and stay happy, stay healthy, and stay safe. My name's Gary Fowler, and I'd like to thank the entire LaToken team for making this show possible today. Let's all make a difference, and let's stay happy. Thank you.
Good moderation, Gary. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you,
having me.
Gary.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. Take
Bye-bye.
care.